Chapter 42-32, Semi-Final 1, Unravel. Siamakronim, it's not time to see her yet, Jun Linyuan said quietly after the Emperor Emeritus left. Master. Before he knew it, Feng the steward had walked up to Jun Linyuan. Jun Linyuan handed him a jade pendant. Give it to Xiao Wu and tell her that no matter what happens, they'll keep her safe. Your Royal Highness, aren't you going to? Feng suggested. You know how I am now. If someone finds out about it, it'll bring her danger. Apart from my grandfather, who already knows about it, I don't want anyone else to know about it. Feng the steward said, yes. Feng took the jade pendant to Feng Wu and told her about the letter Jun Linyuan had sent her. He didn't want Feng Wu to think that it was from someone else. Feng Wu said, I know it's him. The 12 trials of love was indirect proof. This is the spiritual formula, an ultimate cultivation technique of the royal family of the Dayan Empire. Even if you can't master it in a while, once you're familiar with it, it won't be difficult for you to handle the people of the empire. If that's the case, how did Jun Linyuan get his hands on it? How's he doing? Is he in danger? Why didn't he come to me himself? Feng Wu had so many questions, but the steward only smiled bitterly. Miss Wu will know everything when the time is right. Somehow, Feng Wu felt that Jun Linyuan was hiding a big secret. Miss Wu, isn't the Dragon Gate banquet your top priority now? It's better for you to focus on it. As for the secret of the royal family, His Royal Highness would tell her himself when he was free. After the steward left, Feng Wu had no choice but to put Jun Linyuan's matter aside and focus on her cultivation. The semi-final would start in 3 days. This time, it was a last-minute draw. Feng Wu picked Wu Yu, while Yu Minji would fight Yin Yu. The first battle was between Yu Minji and Yin Yu. As expected, Yu Minji lost. The second round. In the arena, Wu Yu looked at Feng Wu and smirked. It's finally your turn. Feng Wu said, You won't go any further. Wu Yu snickered. Yin Yu is right. What an arrogant and stubborn girl. For the sake of the Luo family, I'll allow you to surrender now, but on your knees. Feng Wu said, For the sake of the primordial pagoda, I'll allow you to surrender now, but on your knees. Good, Feng Wu. If you don't admit your defeat now, you'll never have a chance. Wu Yu struck out before he could finish his sentence. No one knew how he did it, but he moved so fast that no one had time to react. Feng Wu had to admit that Wu Yu was the most powerful opponent in this Dragon Gate banquet, so powerful that she had to be serious. However, Feng Wu had been making breakthroughs very fast. She was already a level 8 spiritual sovereign, and Wu Yu was only a level 7 spiritual sovereign at most. He was no match for Feng Wu. Only then did Wu Yu realize how terrifying Feng Wu was. How are you? Feng Wu didn't pretend to be defeated, nor did she show any weakness. Instead, she exerted all her power as a level 8 spiritual sovereign. As a result, Wu Yu kept losing ground. How's that possible? Level 8? She's so young, but she's already at level 8. Chapter 42-33, Semi-Final 2. She's so young, but she's already a level 8 spiritual sovereign. That's so scary. A level 8 spiritual sovereign was already one of the top cultivators on this continent. It was almost impossible for the younger generation to reach that level, and only a handful of middle-aged people had risen that high. Xiao Wu, even Luo Nantian was surprised. Feng Wu was only a level 6 spiritual sovereign when the incident took place in the blood pool, but she was a level 8-1 now. What did she do? Everyone was astonished. Expectedly, Wu Yu fell to the ground after Feng Wu hit him, and Feng Wu stepped on his back. His face hit the ground first, and Wu Yu raised his head to stare at Feng Wu. Blood was oozing out of the corner of his mouth, and he was covered in wounds. He looked intimidating, but Feng Wu wasn't intimidated. She smiled calmly and asked, What? Are you not going to surrender? I won't accept it. As soon as Wu Yu shouted, Feng Wu whipped him. Poor Wu Yu. Feng Wu had stepped on his back, and he couldn't even turn around, let alone stand up. He had no choice but to endure the whipping. Feng Wu's whip had been soaked with salt water, and the salt seeped into the wound. Wu Yu drew in his breath in pain. I won't accept it. There was the sound of a whip. I won't accept it. There was the sound of a whip. Each whip dealt a lot of damage, and he was severely injured. Wu Yu didn't want to admit his defeat at first, but then he was barely breathing. However, Feng Wu still wanted to hit him. He couldn't care less about his dignity anymore and gave in right away. He wanted to give in, but Feng Wu wouldn't let him. Before, Luo Zizhong wanted to give in, but Wu Yu didn't give him any chance. Of course, Feng Wu wouldn't give him that chance. Stop. He has given in. The abbot of the primordial pagoda shouted angrily. He didn't admit his defeat himself. How do you know that? He's so stubborn. Feng Wu cracked her whip again. Poor Wu Yu. He spat out another mouthful of blood. While Feng Wu was talking to the abbot of the primordial pagoda, Wu Yu used all his strength to shout, I give in. That was quick. Feng Wu glanced at Wu Yu. One more time, and he'll kill you. Wu Yu was speechless. He was the arrogant one before, but now Feng Wu was the one. However, he couldn't say anything and had to leave the stage. However, when he reached the last step, he suddenly turned around and stared at Feng Wu with a grim look on his face. Prince Yin is next. He's going to win. I've lost, but you'll be more miserable than me in the next round. Wu Yu only walked off the stage after that. The next round was between the last two players. The ultimate battle between Feng Wu and Yin Yu. Before Feng Wu and Yin Yu got onto the stage, the audience was already talking among themselves. Feng Wu and Yin Yu represented two forces. Feng Wu represented the Luo family, and Yin Yu represented the royal family. Therefore, the competition was between the Luo family and the royal family. Most people still thought that he could win. I think Prince Yin Yu is better. After all, although the Luo family is powerful, the royal family has more resources. Chapter 4234. Final round. Prince Yin Yu has been famous for many years and has always been an outstanding figure among the younger generation. Feng Wu is still too young. But I think Feng Wu is very talented. Maybe something unexpected will happen. What surprise can he possibly have in the face of absolute power? You have no idea, but I heard that the royal family has been supporting Prince Yin Yu with all their effort. Right now, Prince Yin Yu is terrifyingly capable. I heard about it too. It was said that the elders of the royal family taught it to Prince Yin Yu directly. What level is he now? I heard that he's a peak level 8 spiritual sovereign. Feng Wu is a junior level 8-1. Isn't she? That's right. That's why I said that Prince Yin Yu was going to win. Many people were discussing among themselves, and the judges took their seats as well. The principal of the Mountain Sea Academy sat next to Luo Nantian. He cupped his hands at Luo Nantian and sighed in amazement. I saw her with my own eyes on Dynasty Road last year. I thought she was smart and talented, but I didn't expect her to have grown so much. Luo Nantian smiled. She's a lucky girl. The principal said, that can't be summarized by sheer luck. She has risen to level 8 in such a short time. She's almost as good as us. Luo Nantian said, she's still not as good as we are. The principal said, I heard that Lord Yan's residents spared no effort and paid an exorbitant price to raise Yin Yu to level 8. Your girl has to be careful this time. While Luo Nantian and the principal were chatting, the others didn't stay idle either. The princess and Lord Yin exchanged looks, and there was a tacit understanding in their eyes that only they could understand. In the end, the princess smiled, rose to her feet, and made her speech. After a round of fierce competition, the princess finished her sentence. In the end, we have 2 candidates left. They're Yin Yu and Feng Wu. Let's have them on the stage. So, who's going to be the winner of this Dragon Gate banquet? Who's going to get my broken star piece? Well, hand the arena to them. After that, the Princess Royal glanced at Feng Wu with a meaningful look in her eyes. Feng Wu's stomach lurched. The look gave her a very bad feeling. What cards did she have up her sleeves? Something flickered in Feng Wu's eyes, but before she could do anything, the Crown Prince stepped out and called her name. What? Are you too scared to come up to the stage? If you want to give in now, you can always do it, Yin Yu said sarcastically. Feng Sun chimed in without hesitation. Why would she be scared? Xiao Wu is better than you. You're the one who's going to lose. Feng Wu's train of thought was interrupted, and when she tried to recall, she couldn't. Her instinct told her that it was a very important point. Seeing the frown on Feng Wu's face, Feng Sun's stomach lurched. He asked nervously, "Xiao Wu, what's wrong?" Feng Wu shook her head. "I just can't remember. Once I'm up there, keep an eye on your surroundings. If there's anything out there, send me a signal." Feng Sun and Luo Zilin said in unison, "Sure." Chapter 4235, Final Round 2, Up on the Stage. In the end, Prince Yin Yu made the first move. He charged at Feng Wu like a shooting star, and a murderous energy filled the arena. The difference between a peak level, 8th spiritual sovereign, and a junior one was obvious. Yin Yu kept attacking Feng Wu, and Feng Wu kept falling back. Thump! The sharp energy exploded over Feng Wu's head. Feng Wu fell back as fast as she could, but she was still affected a little. Her smooth skin flushed. Again, the Crown Prince closed in with a cold look in his eyes. The energy charged at Feng Wu like a dragon. Even the sky had changed color, let alone around the arena. Feng Wu turned and ran away. Yin Yu ran after Feng Wu. "Where do you think you're going?" He picked up his sword and ran after Feng Wu. Feng Sun clenched his fists. Luo Zilin stared at the arena with a solemn look on his face. Naturally, many people on Yin Yu's side were pleased. They looked at Feng Wu, who was running away, in a condescending manner. In the referee's seat, the Princess Royal smiled as well. She glanced at Luo Nantian and said, "I think we'll soon see who's going to win." Luo Nantian snorted but didn't reply. However, the abbot only smiled and said, "That's right. Prince Yin Yu is indeed a capable cultivator. You're indeed one of the best of your generation. Congratulations, Lord Yin." Lord Yin waved his hand. "Master Yuan, sure, you flatter me. That kid isn't his match at all. If his opponent was stronger, he wouldn't have gained the upper hand so easily." Luo Nanshan's face was livid. He glanced at Lord Yin and smirked. "Lord Yin, do you think you're going to win?" Lord Yin smiled at Luo Nantian, then turned to the stage and said indifferently, "Master Luo Nantian, don't you have eyes in your sockets? Can't you see?" Luo Nantian snorted. Lord Yin went on, "Master Luo Nantian, don't forget our bet. You can't afford to lose." Was there a bet between the two forces? The audience pricked up their ears, hoping to hear more about the gossip, but the ambiguous conversation between Lord Yin and the Luo Nantian made it impossible for them to guess. Luo Nantian said, "Don't worry. I'll keep my word. I'm just afraid that Lord Yin won't be able to take the defeat." "Ha ha ha ha." Lord Yin guffawed. "You is about to win. Why should I be a sore loser? That's just preposterous." In order to improve Yin Yu's capability, the royal family used 2 elders, who were as capable as Lord Yin. That was how much the royal family had paid for Yin Yu to win. However, the situation suddenly changed when Lord Yin guffawed. Lord Yan's smile was so twisted that he froze on the spot. On the stage, Feng Wu had been chased by Yin Yu, but she suddenly stopped. Thump! There was a series of explosions behind her. Flames filled the air, and thick smoke rose up, wrapping around Yin Yu. Feng Wu stood outside the fire and kept throwing more spells into it. Feng Wu was a multi-elemental cultivator to begin with, and she had exerted all her power. Chapter 4236, Final Round 3. Both of them were level 8 spiritual sovereigns. The only difference was that one was a junior and the other peak one. Therefore, Feng Wu's attack was still lethal to Yin Yu. Whoosh! A corner of his defense was finally breached. Ordinary people might not understand it, but the referees were all capable cultivators of the continent. Both the abbot and Lord Yin stiffened. Feng Wu had sharp eyes. Sensing the crack in Yin Yu's defense, she exerted even more power. Soon, cuts appeared on Yin Yu's face. "Yin Yu!" Lord Yin rose to his feet and bellowed at the Crown Prince. They didn't pay that high price to make him lose. Yin Yu finally came back to himself. He walked out of the smoke and slowly walked toward Feng Wu. Right now, he was charred black and had a ferocious look on his face. He suddenly took a bottle of potion out of his chest pocket downed it in one go, and tossed it away. The bottle shattered into pieces, which glinted in the sunlight. His spiritual essence had been drained before, but now it was almost overflowing. Die! Yin Yu, a peak level 8 spiritual sovereign, bellowed in a majestic voice. Damn it! The look on Luo Nanshan's face was even colder. He could sense that Yin Yu's strength had grown rapidly. It was very likely that he was going to make a breakthrough to level 9. As expected, the next second, Yin Yu reached level 9 of the spiritual sovereign stage. Everyone said, seriously? What kind of genius is he? He made a breakthrough at such a critical moment. Prince Yin Yu is indeed the most capable man of his generation. He made a breakthrough at the critical moment. How is Feng Wu supposed to fight now? She's already so far behind him, and the gap is even bigger now. If I were Feng Wu, I would kneel down and beg Prince Yin Yu to spare my life. Countless voices came from the audience. Of course, Feng Wu could see that, but she remained unperturbed and didn't seem shaken. The Princess Royal looked confused. How is that possible? How could Feng Wu be so calm? Shouldn't she be panic-stricken and at a loss over what to do? Why was she still smiling? Yes, Feng Wu was smiling like a blossoming peony. Not only the Princess Royal, but the referees and the audience were also intrigued. Soon they knew why. Feng Wu also poured a bottle of potion into her mouth. The next second, Feng Wu made a breakthrough as well. A level 9 spiritual emperor. She was capable enough to be one of the top cultivators on this continent. What? Wait, what happened? The 2 breakthroughs were unbelievable. What kind of potion could make a person make a breakthrough so easily? If that was the case, why were they still working so hard? A battle between 2 level 9 spiritual sovereigns. Oh God, this is unprecedented. I remember that the top 2 were level 7 spiritual sovereigns in the last Dragon Gate banquet. That's right. Chapter 4237, Last War 1. This year's competition is going to be a peak one. I wonder who's the real winner. While everyone was discussing among themselves, Yin Yu stared at Feng Wu with a ferocious look on his face. The liquid he drank was made from the essence of the dead elders. Had the Luo family sacrificed 2 elders for her as well? However, even the elders were willing to sacrifice themselves, but only semi-divine medicine refiners could make the liquid. How could Feng Wu? Feng Wu smiled at him. Someone once said that I was invincible among my peers. I'd like to know if that's true. Yin Yu smirked. In your dreams, Feng Wu said, let's see who's the real invincible cultivator. Thump. The spiritual essence kept gushing out as they clashed. The impact sent them flying backward. Feng Wu stumbled back 7 steps, and Yin Yu only took 1 step to steady himself. Had the winner been determined? I asked Prince Yin, why are you going to win? He only took 1 step back, but Feng Wu took 7. I think we know who's going to win. Feng Wu was so confident just then that I thought she was going to win. The crowd believed that Yin Yu was going to win. Feng Sun and Luo Xilan's faces were livid. Meanwhile, the referees all had different expressions on their faces. The Princess Royal was already laughing. I see that Prince Yin Yu is going to be first. Master Luo Nantian, what do you think? Luo Nantian smiled and didn't answer the Princess Royal. Instead, he asked another person, Lord Yin, what do you think? With a stern look on his face, Lord Yin stiffened a little. He then stared at Yin Yu without saying a word. The Princess Royal immediately realized that something wasn't right. Was she not good enough to see it? The abbot frowned a little. Why did Prince Yin Yu insist on holding his ground? He didn't have to do that. As expected, Yin Yu couldn't take it anymore. He spat out a mouthful of blood. While he was vomiting blood, Feng Wu struck out. Feng Wu, how dare you? Frustrated, Lord Yin jumped to his feet and bellowed at Feng Wu. She was taking advantage of him. However, one couldn't afford to be distracted in a battle. She would be a fool if she didn't take advantage of the situation. Feng Wu ignored Lord Yin and activated all the spiritual essence she had accumulated over the years. Thump, thump, thump. It charged at Yin Yu like a tidal wave. Jumping into the air, the flying sword slashed down at Yin Yu. The sword was imbued with the power of thunder. It wrapped around Yin Yu like a giant dragon and exploded. Even Lord Yin was intimidated, for Feng Wu was already terrifyingly capable. Even someone like Lord Yin was only a spiritual saint, which was just above a level 9 spiritual sovereign. Feng Wu wasn't much weaker than him anymore, and she had borrowed the power of nature. Wait, where did she get it from? She had used the power of the chaotic nature of the royal family. Chaotic energy of nature was the only thing that could break Yin Yu's defense. Chapter 4238. Last War 2. Only a handful of members of the royal family had inherited the power of chaotic nature. So who on earth had lent it to her? The impact knocked Yin Yu to the ground. He fell backward with a thump. Everyone was astonished. When the lightning dissipated, the sword was no longer there. Everyone stared at Yin Yu in disbelief. What happened? Why did Prince Yin Yu fall so suddenly? But he had the upper hand before. Is Prince Yin Yu dead? Everyone was curious about the last question. Yin Yu. Lord Yin rushed up the stage and reached for Yin Yu's face. His face stiffened and he stared at Feng Wu. You killed him. What? Everyone drew in their breaths. Feng Wu had killed Yin Yu. Feng Wu had killed Yin Yu, the level 9 spiritual sovereign. One strike. That was all it took. What level was Feng Wu now? It was terrifying. Feng Wu said indifferently. Lord Yin, why do you say that? Prince Yin Yu isn't dead. He's still alive. Lord Yan's eyes were bloodshot red. You destroyed his cultivation ability. He's as good as dead. Not only was Prince Yin Yu's son, but he was also a member of the family and the royal family. He had sacrificed 2 level 9 spiritual sovereign elders for this, but Feng Wu had crippled him just like that. The next second, Lord Yin leaped up and reached for Feng Wu's throat. Feng Wu had to die if she was caught. Feng Wu was prepared for this, so she dodged when Lord Yin charged at her. The next second, Luo Nantian was in front of Feng Wu and blocked Lord Yan's attack. What? Are you going to take your revenge now? Luo Nantian asked casually. Lord Yin was going to make another move when Feng Wu smirked. So, the so-called Dragon Gate banquet has been decided by the royal family from the very beginning? Only the royal family can win, and the others will get their revenge. Is that it? There were so many people around, and Feng Wu's words were enough to set the mood. As expected, everyone was talking at the same time. The people hated it when it was unfair. Their goal was to be impartial and fair. If Feng Wu was right, the reputation of the Dragon Gate banquet would be ruined. Princess Royal had no choice but to rise to her feet. She shot a warning glance at Lord Yin before she forced a smile. The Dragon Gate banquet is always fair and open. There's no such thing as an arranged winner. Miss Feng Wu, you can't make it up. Feng Wu stared at the Princess Royal. Then what's Lord Yin doing? The Princess Royal stared at her. Lord Yin was just too agitated to see his son like this. Crippling a cultivator's ability is more painful than killing him. Miss Feng Wu, don't you think you're being too malicious? Was she trying to ruin Feng Wu's reputation? Feng Wu chuckled. Didn't we sign the death contract before the competition started? Did your Royal Highness think that the competition was a joke? Did you think you could change the rules just like that? The princess was rendered speechless by Feng Wu's words. She didn't want to embarrass the royal family in front of everyone. Chapter 4239. Last War 3. The Princess Royal said coldly, "What a sharp-tongued girl. You said everything." Feng Wu said, "You flatter me. I just want to know who's going to win this competition." After that, Feng Wu kept her unblinking gaze on the Princess Royal, waiting for an answer. Feng Wu wasn't the only one. Right now, the audience was also looking at the Princess Royal to see if she would take Lord Yan's side. The Princess Royal was speechless. She was so mad at Feng Wu. Feng Wu's mother was such a goofball and so easy to fool. Why was the girl so difficult to handle? Not only was she sharp-tongued, but she was also very capable. Having no other choice, Princess Royal had to admit that Feng Wu had won. Then, Feng Wu gave the Princess Royal a half-smile. What else? The Princess Royal wanted to retort, but when she saw the cold look in Feng Wu's eyes, she finally realized that she couldn't take the broken star piece away just like that. The broken star piece was a treasure for one's cultivation. As long as one had it with them, they would have an endless supply of spiritual essence. The Princess Royal narrowed her eyes and hesitated, but she still wouldn't give the broken star piece to Feng Wu. What are you stalling for? Somehow, Feng Wu felt that something wasn't right with the Princess Royal, so she narrowed her eyes. Knowing that she couldn't stall anymore, the Princess Royal handed the broken star piece to Feng Wu. The fourth broken star piece. Feng Wu carefully picked up the fourth broken star piece. She was so absorbed in it that she didn't notice where the Princess Royal was. All four broken star pieces would be enough to wake up her beautiful master, and Feng Wu already had 3. As expected, inside Feng Wu's ring space, the fairy was already banging her head against the wall and howling in excitement. Feng Wu carefully put the broken star piece away in her chest pocket. She had put in her ring space so that it wouldn't get lost. Only the third broken star piece was left, and her third senior brother probably had it. After everything was settled, Feng Wu decided to go to the sacred Mu Cliff. Feng Wu hoped that her third senior brother was in the sacred Mu Cliff. Just then, Feng Wu realized that something wasn't right. Luo Nantian swayed a little. Uncle! Feng Wu went up to Luo Nantian in a hurry. What was wrong with her uncle? When Feng Wu looked up, she saw that Luo Nantian's face had turned blue and his eyes were bloodshot red. He seemed to be in a trance-like state. Feng Wu immediately checked Luo Nantian's pulse and drew in her breath. Bone eroding blue powder. Feng Wu narrowed her eyes. Looking down, she saw that the crowd had dispersed, leaving only some offspring of the major families behind. Moreover, man people had fallen to the ground and looked dispirited. Luo Zilin, Feng Sun, Xian Yi, and many others fell to the ground. Qiu Jinan, Murong Linhai, and Ji Xingqing all fell to the ground. Fairy Xiun, Wu Yu, and the others weren't any better. Very few people were still standing. What was going on? Feng Wu turned to look at the Princess Royal. That was right. Right now, only the princess and Lord Yin were still standing there with smiles on their faces. Therefore, it was obvious who had released the poison. Chapter 4240. Bone eroding blue powder. You've poisoned them. Feng Wu stared at the Princess Royal and didn't dare to take a deep breath, for she would be poisoned as well. The Princess Royal looked at Feng Wu in bewilderment. Why aren't you down? Feng Wu had an unusual constitution. Most poisons wouldn't work on her, but the bone-eroding blue powder would. It just wasn't as potent. What do you want? Feng Wu asked. That was why she had felt that something was wrong from the very beginning. The Princess Royal had used the bone-eroding blue powder. What was she going to do? Feng Wu looked at Luo Nantian involuntarily, but his face was livid. Shit, Feng Wu thought to herself. My uncle probably didn't expect that the Princess Royal would start a faction war on such an occasion. Nor did the others. Who would have thought that the princess would be so insane? There were so many people here. Feng Wu noticed the confused looks on the faces of Wu Yu, Prince Yin Yu, and the others. It was obvious that they were all kept in the dark. The only ones who knew what was going on were the Princess Royal and Lord Yin, for they were the only ones who were smirking. What do I want? Heh, the Princess Royal smirked. With everything that has happened, why are you still asking questions? No wonder you're all prisoners now. Feng Wu looked carefully. Everyone in your clan is on the ground. Not only the Luo family, but the neutral forces such as Mountain Sea Academy, the Formless Sword Sect, and the Red Feather Room had all collapsed. No one could fight back. The head of the academy stared at the Princess Royal in astonishment as well. What are you doing? Are you going to kill us all? Master Chulian of the Red Feather Room said angrily. Princess, do you know the consequences? No one had expected that the Princess Royal would do such a thing. All the major forces had gathered here, and they had all been poisoned. Aren't you afraid of offending everyone? One of the members of the Formless Sword Sect bellowed. The Princess Royal smirked. The head of the academy, Master Chulian, and the second in command of the Formless Sword Sect, As long as you submit to my Dayan Empire and become one of my subordinate forces, I can promise you that you'll be as influential as you used to be. However, the leaders snorted and didn't take the Princess Royal's words seriously because they felt that they had been severely offended. Princess Royal, the Murong family has always been on friendly terms with the royal family. The Murong family's head couldn't help but speak up. The Princess Royal smiled. Master Murong, are you going to work for the Dayan Empire now? The head of the Murong family nodded. Of course. Well, always be loyal to the Dayan Empire. Good. It's time to prove your loyalty. The Princess Royal took a dagger out of her chest pocket and tossed it in front of Master Murong. Go ahead. I'd like to see you try to kill a member of the Luo family. Someone was going to die. No one had expected such a drastic turn of events, but it was great news for Yin Yu and the others. Holding the dagger, Master Murong took a deep breath. The Princess Royal asked indifferently, What? Master Murong, do you not want to offend the Luo family? Master Murong shook his head. He knew perfectly well that the Princess Royal was forcing him to do it. Chapter 42-41. Take sides. The Murong family needed to play the role of the vanguard. Master Murong held a dagger in his hand. After some thought, he turned to Murong Lin Hai and said, Pick a member of the Luo family and kill them. Murong Lin Hai was speechless. Master Murong scolded him. Go, Murong Lin Hai said, but I can't stand up. Princess Royal gave him a pill. Murong Lin Hai regained some strength after taking the pill. Holding the dagger, he rose to his feet and slowly walked toward the Luo family. Meanwhile, everyone in the Luo family had a grim look on their faces. It was obvious that the Princess Royal had set the Luo family up. She was going to kill them without giving them a chance to surrender. Soon, Murong Lin Hai walked up to Luo Zilin. Feng Wu's chest heaved as she tried to force the toxin out of her system so that she could resume her cultivation. Once she recovered, she would be able to make the antidote in her ring space. Stop! Feng Wu shouted. Murong Lin Hai turned around and glanced at Feng Wu. You're not allowed to hurt my brother. Otherwise, he'll make your family pay 100 times over. Murong Lin Hai paused for a moment. Just then, the Princess Royal smirked. Did you hear that? If you let the Luo family live, your family will be punished 100 times over. Master Murong shouted, Murong Lin Hai. Before Murong Lin Hai could move, someone said, if he doesn't dare to do it, he'll do it. Princess Royal, please grant my wish. It was none other than Fairy Ziyun herself. She had already pledged her allegiance to the royal family and was under the command of the Princess Royal. The Princess Royal smiled. All right, after taking the antidote, Fairy Ziyun had recovered most of her strength, so she walked toward Luo Zilin without hesitation and pressed the dagger to his throat. Stop! You can't hurt him. No, you can't. Stop! Some neutrals chimed in, and the Luo family shouted. Feng Sun rushed over, trying to push Fairy Ziyun away. However, he was too weak to do anything and fell to the ground. Master Chilian shouted, Ziyun, how dare you? Fairy Ziyun gave Master Chilian a contemptuous sidelong glance. Old hag, just wait and see. ITLL, be your turn soon. After that, Fairy Ziyun looked at Luo Zilin again. Luo Zilin, I put up with you for so long. Die. She raised the dagger and stabbed it into Luo Zilin's heart. Of course, Feng Wu wouldn't let that happen. She ran toward Luo Zilin. Fairy Ziyun grabbed Feng Wu with a smirk. No? Who the hell do you think you are? You'll be next after I kill Luo Zilin. So get lost. After that, Fairy Ziyun tossed Feng Wu to the side and walked up to Luo Zilin again. Feng Wu spat out a mouthful of blood. Whoosh! The blade fell, and there was the sound of metal piercing flesh. Feng Wu suddenly looked at Luo Zilin. Fairy Ziyun's dagger pierced Luo Zilin's chest. She drew out her dagger, and blood gushed out. Luo Zilin couldn't even fight back. Brother Zilin, little Zilin, Zilin! Everyone was shouting at the same time. Chapter 42-42. Luo Zilin smiled bitterly. It had never occurred to him that the Luo family would be defeated by the bone-eroding blue powder. No one had expected the royal family to be so despicable as to do such a thing in front of everyone. They didn't care about their dignity at all. Looked down at his chest, where blood was gushing out like a fountain. By the look of it, the blood was going to run out. Feng Wu rushed to Luo Xilan's side, put a hand over his chest, and comforted him in a low voice. "I'm here. Don't worry." Feng Wu fed her own blood to Luo Xilan as she spoke. The Princess Royal looked at Feng Wu in surprise. "You've neutralized the poison." The Princess Royal gritted her teeth. Feng Wu didn't have time to reply. The Princess Royal glanced at Fairy Ziyun. Fairy Ziyun was working for the Princess Royal now, so Fairy Ziyun knew what to do with one look from the princess. Without another word, Fairy Ziyun charged at Feng Wu. Sensing a gust of wind, Feng Wu spun around with Luo Xilan in her arms, dodging the attack. The next second, Feng Wu handed Luo Xilan to Feng Sun, leaving a bag of blood for Feng Sun at an angle where no one could see. Only then did she slowly turn around. Thump! When Fairy Ziyun struck again, Feng Wu waved her fists. Thump! The impact charged at Fairy Ziyun. Ah! Fairy Ziyun flew backward and landed on the ground. She spat out a mouthful of blood. Ziyun! The eldest prince went up to her and checked her breathing with his free hand. He realized that Fairy Ziyun was barely breathing. He stared at Feng Wu in disbelief. One strike was enough to severely injure Ziyun. Feng Wu was incredible. "He'll fight you." After leaving Fairy Ziyun behind, the crown prince went up to Feng Wu. Feng Wu smiled a little. Thump! 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 After 3 strikes, the crown prince flew backward and fell to the ground. Just like Fairy Ziyun, he spat out blood right away. "Your Royal Highness." Many people cried out in surprise again. They were astonished when they looked at Feng Wu again. Feng Wu had defeated Yin Yu, and everyone knew that she was the most capable cultivator of her generation. However, no one had expected that she could defeat the crown prince, the winner of the last Dragon Gate banquet, with 3 strikes. What a genius! The Princess Royal looked from the crown prince to Feng Wu with a grim smile on her face. "Princess Royal, are you not convinced? Bring it on." Feng Wu smirked. "Princess Royal, you're so precious. Why don't you let me? Someone was going to take the prince's place." Meanwhile, someone was staring at Feng Wu in astonishment. It was none other than Feng Yambing, Feng Wu's father. Feng Yambing stood there in a trance-like state with his mouth agape. He was too shocked to utter a word. Feng Wu was an unmatched genius. What did he do to deserve such a genius child? Feng Yambing was so excited that he almost laughed. He couldn't help but smile a little. "You go." The Princess Royal stared at Feng Yambing. Chapter 42-43. Feng Yambing didn't know what to say. "What?" The Princess Royal said coldly. "Take her down." Only realized what was going on when he saw the cold look in the Princess Royal's eyes. That was right. The girl wasn't on their side now. Quickly, the Princess Royal prompted him, gritted his teeth, and said in the end, "I can't take her down. You know that. I'm not a level 8 spiritual sovereign yet." Feng Wu was a level 9 spiritual sovereign now. The Princess Royal smirked. "Aren't you his father? If she doesn't listen to you and surrenders, she'll be considered an unfilial daughter." Mumbled, "Listen to me? She has even hit me." The Princess Royal didn't expect that Feng Yambing would say such a thing. She was furious. "Fine. If that's the case, I'll kill her myself." Wanted to tell her that the girl hadn't shown her full capability yet, but he couldn't bring himself to say it. If he did, the Princess Royal would be on guard, and the genius girl would be in danger. The Princess Royal looked at Feng Wu. She was a capable cultivator and had been making breakthroughs recently, so she was very confident in herself. However, when she actually fought Feng Wu, she suddenly felt an endless amount of pressure. Thump! 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 In the battle between Feng Wu and the princess, everyone had thought that the princess would be able to take Feng Wu down, but as it turned out, how dare you, Feng Wu? Princess Royal was hit in the belly and felt that her dantian had been severely injured. A burning sensation ran through her body. She broke into a cold sweat. However, Feng Wu didn't give her any chance. She stepped forward and grabbed the Princess Royal by her throat. Stop! Lord Yin didn't expect that Feng Wu would be able to subdue the Princess Royal so easily. He frowned and felt even more frustrated. If he had known this would happen, he would have killed the girl already. He would have to go through all this trouble. Lord Yin blamed the Princess Royal for being nosy, but he couldn't say anything now. He had to stop Feng Wu. Holding the dagger to the Princess Royal's throat, Feng Wu said coldly, "Hand over the antidote." The Princess Royal smirked. "An antidote? What antidote?" Feng Wu asked, "What do you think?" The Princess Royal said confidently, "So, you're talking about the antidote for bone-eroding blue powder. Sorry, I never prepared it in the first place." Feng Wu said, "I see that you don't feel like a hostage at all." The Princess Royal smirked. "What can you possibly do to me? You wouldn't dare." Feng Wu said, "You're my senior, aren't you? Are you proud of yourself when I've defeated you?" That hurt. The Princess Royal gritted her teeth and said to Lord Yin, "Kill everyone in the Luo family." The next second, the Princess Royal felt a pain in her throat as something fell into her stomach. Feng Wu tossed her aside. "What did you feed me?" The Princess Royal was astonished. It wouldn't be so bad if the Princess Royal knew what kind of pill Feng Wu gave her, but she didn't. The unknown was the most frightening thing because the imagination could frighten her. "Take Feng Wu down. Now." "Let me do it then." The head of the Morong family finally stepped out. Chapter 42-44. Master Morong, the Princess Royal, had told him to kill a member of the Luo family, but he had given the task to Morong Lin Hai. As a result, he had stalled for so long. He was worried that if he didn't step out now, he would really offend the Princess Royal. The Princess Royal threw a dirty look at Master Morong. "Master Morong, I'm counting on you. Catch her and don't let her die." The Princess Royal was still waiting for Feng Wu's antidote. While Feng Wu was fighting Master Morong, an Imperial physician came up to treat the Princess Royal. "Do you know what poison it is?" The Princess Royal stared at the Imperial physician. However, the Imperial physician only remained silent. In the end, he shook his head with a solemn look on his face, indicating that he couldn't do anything about it. "Useless." The Princess Royal gritted her teeth. Meanwhile, the head of the Morong family was fighting Feng Wu. The head of the Morong family was at least a level 10 spiritual sovereign, but he still hadn't defeated Feng Wu. The head of the Morong family had thought that he could take Feng Wu down right away, and so did everyone else. However, that didn't happen. It was like a slap on his face. "I didn't know you were so capable. I've underestimated you." Master Morong stared at Feng Wu with a grim look in his eyes. Soon, they exchanged blows again. The audience watched the battle with wide-open eyes. Seriously? The royal family thought. Master Morong has made at least 10 strikes, but he still can't defeat Feng Wu. The Luo family thought. Feng Wu was able to withstand 10 strikes without showing any signs of defeat. Since when was Feng Wu so capable? Feng Yambing couldn't help but say to the Princess Royal, "See, I told you already. That girl is incredible. She's getting stronger every night." The Princess Royal glared at Feng Yambing. "Shut up." Feng Yambing rubbed his nose. The girl was his own daughter. Seeing how pleased he was, the Princess Royal was even angrier. She stared at Master Morong and snorted. "Master Morong, are you going easy on her to buy her more time?" Of course, the head of the Muronk family didn't dare to take the blame. He had no choice but to use his ultimate move. He opened his palm, and a sky thunder hammer appeared at his right hand. "Little girl, you're going to die." The wind created by the hammer seemed to be able to crush heaven and earth. The formidable power wrapped around the hammer and charged at Feng Wu like a giant mountain. "Watch out!" Feng Sun clenched his fists nervously. Feng Wu dodged the strike, but her right arm was hit, and there was a loud thump. She stumbled and was almost knocked away. Patriarch Morong was surprised. There were 3 stances in total, and one of them was enough to make him invincible, not to mention that she wasn't as advanced as he was. To his surprise, Feng Wu dodged the first strike. The second stance. Boom! The heavenly thunder hammer turned into a streak of lightning, which smashed the air around Feng Wu. Feng Wu was running as fast as she could, but she still wasn't as fast as Master Murong. When the lightning dissipated, Feng Wu's face was almost charred, and she was covered with cuts and bruises. She didn't have any intact skin left. From afar, she looked like a charred puppet. Chapter 42-45. Sacred Mu Cliff. Master Murong looked excited. Finally! Feng Wu was severely injured. That was to say, his ultimate move was still the ultimate move. The third stance. Master Murong activated his most powerful stance without hesitation. Everyone in the Luo family was terrified. Feng Sun was so anxious that he wanted to rush onto the stage. They all saw that Feng Wu seemed to have been struck dumb by the second strike. She just stood there and couldn't dodge the third one. She was going to die. Stop! Countless voices rang out. However, Master Murong only smirked and showed no mercy. At that critical moment, a cold voice rang out. How dare you? Stop! As he spoke, a figure blocked Feng Wu's way and parried the strike. Thump! The hammer was thrown away, and Master Murong stumbled back. Immediately, all eyes were on him. Who was he? Meanwhile, Feng Wu looked pleasantly surprised. He was Patriarch Helion of the Junwu continent and her sixth senior brother. Feng Sun and the others recognized the old man as well and were pleasantly surprised. It's him. It's him. It's Patriarch Helion. He's here to save us. Wait, there's another person with Patriarch Helion. Who is he? Master Linghu. Gosh, it's him. He's the pillar of the Junwu Empire. I thought he wasn't allowed to leave the Empire. Why is he here? That was right. Next to Patriarch Helion was none other than Master Linghu, Feng Wu's fifth senior brother. Because Feng Wu had been told not to let other people know who she really was, she couldn't address them as senior brothers in front of other people. Therefore, Feng Wu still addressed them as Patriarch Helion and Master Linghu. Patriarch Helion patted Feng Wu on the head. You've had a hard time. Master Linghu smiled at Feng Wu affectionately. While they were enjoying themselves, the other side was displeased. Patriarch Murong stared at the two people and found them familiar, but he still couldn't recognize them. Princess Royal, on the other hand, narrowed her eyes and finally remembered who the people were. It's you. The Princess Royal pointed at Patriarch Helion and Master Linghu. You're Mu Jia's pupil, Mu Jiuzhou. A hush fell over the crowd at those words. Mu Jiuzhou was an invincible figure in both the Junwu continent and the Dian Empire. Hearing what the Princess Royal said, Lord Yin and the others looked at them in astonishment. Ever since Mu Jiuzhou went missing, the 6 disciples of the sacred Mu Cliff either left the Empire or lived in seclusion. Because of that, Princess Royal, Lord Yin, and the others didn't include the sacred Mu Cliff in their plan. But now, the disciples of Sacred Mu Cliff had come out of seclusion, and there were 2 of them. Recalling the feud between Mu Jiuzhou and the royal family, the Princess Royal frowned. She had a bad feeling, but in order to make her plan work, she had to put away her emotions and smile. You're Mr. Linghu, Lord Mu's 5th pupil, aren't you? Chapter 42-46. The Finale. 1. Master Linghu nodded. You're Mr. Helion, the 6th pupil of Master Mu, aren't you? Patriarch Helion nodded as well. The Princess Royal smiled obsequiously. You've come from afar, and I'm sorry for not greeting you. As for what happened here, it has nothing to do with the sacred Mu Cliff. Please mind your own business and don't cause trouble for them. The Princess Royal thought that since she had shown her attitude, the other party should feel honored. However, Patriarch Helion smirked and said, You don't have to tell me what to do in the sacred Mu Cliff. The Princess Royal asked coldly, Are you sure you want to get involved? Patriarch Helion and Master Linghu chuckled. They didn't say much, but the meaning was obvious. The Princess Royal smirked. With the current situation, are you really going to die with the Luo family? Patriarch Helion said, Are you sure about that? Only then was Princess Royal convinced that the two men had come prepared. Why are you doing this? The Princess Royal asked the question everyone wanted to ask. Why are you helping the Luo family? Patriarch Helion smiled. We've never helped the Luo family, but Feng Wu. Everyone drew in their breaths. Feng Wu. What did Feng Wu have anything to do with it? Feng Sun raised his chin in satisfaction. Of course, it was for Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu was very close to these two elders. Is it worth it to drag the sacred Mu cliff down with her? The Princess Royal gritted her teeth. People of the sacred Mu cliff are not to be trifled with. Patriarch Helion glared at the Princess Royal. The Princess Royal asked, who did that to the people of the sacred Mu cliff? Everyone knew that the sacred Mu cliff wasn't to be messed with, so they had always been polite. No one would dare to pick on them. Patriarch Helion said, yeah. Princess Royal said, no, I didn't. Patriarch Helion pointed at Feng Wu. You've bullied her. The Princess Royal said, she's not from the sacred Mu cliff. Patriarch Helion said, she is. Immediately, everyone drew in their breaths again. What? Feng Wu was from the sacred Mu cliff? Even Feng Sun was astonished. He was so close to Feng Wu that he didn't know the girl's relationship with the sacred Mu cliff. So was the Princess Royal. What did you say? Patriarch Helion said, she's our junior sister. Why isn't she from the sacred Mu cliff? Even Feng Wu was surprised. Didn't her sixth senior brother tell her not to tell anyone that she was his master's pupil? Why did he tell her now? What? What? Apart from a handful of people, the rest of the crowd watched this with wide-open eyes. Who were they kidding? How could Feng Wu be their junior sister? That's impossible. The Princess Royal was the first to cry out. Does that mean she's Master Mu's pupil? We've never heard of a female pupil in the sacred Mu cliff. Have you heard of her? Master Murong and the others shook their heads. They had never heard of such a thing before. Master Mu is long gone. He's never going to have a female student. That's bullshit. Lord Yin smirked. Master Murong asked, are you taking a pupil on behalf of your master? Immediately, all eyes were on Patriarch Helion and Master Linghu. Patriarch Helion smirked. You may not believe it, but my master really took her in. Chapter 42-47. The Finale, 2. Lord Yin stressed. That's impossible. Master Mu is long dead. How can he still have a new pupil? That's impossible. Patriarch Helion smirked. Who knows what happened in the sacred Mu cliff better? You or us? Lord Yin was speechless. The Princess Royal stepped forward. Are you saying that Master Mu isn't dead? Patriarch Helion only smiled. The Princess Royal suddenly turned around and met Lord Yan's eyes. Both looked terrified. The relationship between Master Mu and the royal family was very bad. If he wasn't dead. But Lord Yin shook his head affirmatively. No, he's dead. He had seen it with his own eyes. Saying that he was missing was only an excuse. In fact, Master Mu was dead. Completely dead. At that thought, Lord Yin shook his head at the Princess Royal. Only then did Princess Royal let out a breath of relief. Helion only smirked when he saw their interaction. Lord Yin stared at Patriarch Helion and narrowed his eyes. So, the two of you made the decision on your own? Without Master Mu, the sacred Mu cliff was still very powerful, but not invincible. I was going to take care of the sacred Mu cliff after I took care of the Luo family, but you just happened to run into me. Since that's the case, they'll take care of you all today. Lord Yin smiled. As he spoke, he shot warning glances at the Princess Royal, Patriarch Murong, and the abbot. The Luo family had been hit by the powder, and so had the neutral forces like the Mountain Sea Academy. They were practically defenseless. Now, there were only two people from the sacred Mu cliff. Did they think they could turn things around? The four of us can do it together. To be on the safe side, Lord Yin decided that it would be 4 against 2. The four of them nodded, and each took a corner so that their opponent wouldn't run away. To their surprise, Patriarch Helion didn't try to run away. Instead, he gave Lord Yin a confused look, which made Lord Yan's heart skip a beat. He had a very bad feeling. He was right. The next moment, they heard a taunting voice. How dare you pick on the people of sacred Mu cliff? That was a familiar voice. Feng Wu looked up involuntarily and saw people coming their way. One was her third senior brother, whom she was familiar with, and the other one. Feng Wu hadn't met him before. However, since he was here with her third senior brother, Feng Wu could roughly guess who he was. As expected, Patriarch Helion said to Feng Wu, "Do you see that blue-robed scholar? He's your fourth senior brother." He was dressed like a Confucian scholar and had a book in his hand. He looked elegant and carefree. In comparison, her third senior brother was a pure swordsman, and he looked as cold as ice. Feng Wu greeted them in a hurry. "Senior brothers." The third senior brother nodded and gave Feng Wu a gentle look. Chapter 42-48, the finale, 3. Ignoring the impending battle, Feng Wu dragged her third senior brother to the side. Their departure attracted a lot of attention, but because of Patriarch Helion, both the Princess Royal and Lord Yin were distracted. Feng Wu stopped Chu Tianxiao, her third senior brother, and asked in a low voice, "Senior brother, have you found the third broken star piece?" Feng Wu had told her third senior brother about the broken star piece waking up her beautiful master. Her third senior brother had entered the Dian Empire earlier to look for it. Chu Tianxiao frowned a little. Feng Wu's stomach lurched. Seriously? He still hadn't found it? The third senior brother paused for a moment before sighing. The difficult part is finding the rest. There are 4 in total. Feng Wu grabbed his sleeve in excitement. "Senior brother, are you saying that you have the third broken star piece? You do, don't you?" Chu Tianxiao was cold to everyone except for Feng Wu. He rubbed Feng Wu's head. "Yes." Feng Wu said, "Give it to me, now." Chu Tianxiao showed Feng Wu the broken star piece. "There are too many people here, and it won't be easy to find it if we lose it. They'll keep it for now until we're somewhere safe. We won't be able to handle them if there are only a few of them. The royal family still has a few capable cultivators, and I don't think I can handle them all. So you can leave now." After that, Chu Tianxiao was going to send Feng Wu away. However, Feng Wu grabbed the broken star piece in Chu Tianxiao's hand in excitement. "Senior brother, Master will be with us." Before Chu Tianxiao could ask, Feng Wu had taken the broken star piece. Just then, the battle started. Chu Tianxiao told Feng Wu, "Find a safe place to hide first." After that, Chu Tianxiao joined the battle. A battle between top cultivators was taking place. Patriarch Morong, the abbot, the Princess Royal, and Lord Yin were facing Feng Wu's 4 senior brothers. On any other day, Feng Wu would have joined the battle already, for if she did, the Sacred Mu Cliff would have a great chance of winning. However, Feng Wu didn't have time to do that now. Her third senior brother had just revealed that there was a very capable cultivator behind the Dian Empire. The only thing she could do now was to send the broken star piece into her ring space as soon as possible so that her beautiful master could wake up. In a corner where no one could see, Feng Wu leaned against the wall and entered the ring space. Inside, Little Phoenix and the fairy were looking at Feng Wu in excitement, for they had heard the conversation between Feng Wu and Chu Tianxiao. Little Phoenix was so excited that its voice trembled. "The third broken star piece? The third? The third!" Feng Wu immediately took out the third broken star piece and showed it to Little Phoenix. Little Phoenix cried out and fainted. Feng Wu put it aside grumpily, then put all 4 broken star pieces in her master's heart. All these years, her beautiful master had been lying on the cold jade bed with his eyes closed. He had remained unaffected by the passage of time. Staring at that stunning face, Feng Wu slowly knelt down in front of him. Before she knew it, she was in tears. "Master!" Chapter 42-49, the finale, for Master. Feng Wu sobbed, trying to make up for all the hardships she had gone through. Seeing the 4 broken star pieces condense into a complete star above her beautiful master, Feng Wu smiled with teary eyes. Her beautiful master was going to wake up. She was sure of it. Just then, the fairy reminded Feng Wu, "We're losing the battle." Feng Wu's eyes lit up. Her senior brothers had been fighting the royal family when she came in, and it didn't look like they were going to lose. Had reinforcements come again? Fengwu looked at her beautiful master. The fairy said anxiously, "Don't worry. We'll keep an eye on him for you. I'm sure nothing will happen to your master." By then, little Phoenix had woken up as well. It promised Fengwu that it would keep an eye on the master and wouldn't let anything happen. Fengwu said in a serious tone, "He'll go out now. You guys have to guard my master." Little Phoenix and the fairy nodded in unison. Just then, Fengwu stepped out and saw that the Dian Empire had indeed sent reinforcements. A person that looked like a eunuch had joined the battle. Her senior brothers used to have the upper hand, but because of the eunuch, her team began to lose ground. Without another word, Fengwu joined the fight and confronted the Princess Royal with her. The princess had lost to Fengwu before, and Fengwu had thought that she could easily defeat her. However, the princess drank a bottle of blood-colored D0 Tian. It was exactly the same as the one Yinyu used before. After drinking it, the princess made a breakthrough and reached level 10 of the spiritual emperor stage. Fengwu was speechless. The Princess Royal sneered at Fengwu. "Do you really think I can't do anything to you? I've been suppressing my breakthrough, that's all. I'm level 10 now, and you're only a level 9 spiritual sovereign. You have no chance. Die." The battle between the Princess Royal and Fengwu grew more intense. Even with Fengwu's help, Princess Royal was still gaining ground. The chief eunuch was able to keep Chu Tianxiao busy so that he wouldn't have time to help other senior brothers. Master LV, the chief eunuch, smirked at Chu Tianxiao. "Mr. Chu, you can't do it on your own. We're your senior brothers." Just then, a voice came from afar. "Dao Yu, the second disciple of Sacred Mu Cliff, is here. Hua Yangzi, the eldest pupil of the Sacred Mu Cliff, is here." Fengwu looked up and saw the two people coming their way. Dao Yu was tall, strong, and full of power. Hua Yangzi, on the other hand, looked like a sage. Fengwu could sense that the Princess Royal was moving faster and faster. The chief eunuch, who had been fighting Chu Tianxiao, had a cold look in his eyes as well. "Master LV, it's been a while." The sage-like Hua Yangzi smiled and looked at him. Master LV is the chief steward of the Imperial Palace and one of the top 3 members of the royal family. Your cultivation level is higher than my 3rd junior brothers. Would you like to fight me? Master LV's face was livid. He was indeed a level higher than Chu Tianxiao, but in actual combat, he was only Chu Tianxiao's equal. That was to say, Chu Tianxiao would be able to crush him once he made the breakthrough. As for Dao Yu and Hua Yangzi, the 2 top cultivators of Sacred Mu Cliff, Master LV had no chance at all. Chapter 4250, the finale 5. Meanwhile, the others were astonished. It's such a big scene. The head of the Mountain Sea Academy watched this in amazement and murmured to Luo Nantian, "All 6 disciples of Sacred Mu Cliff are here." Luo Nantian pressed a hand to his chest. 7. The principal said, "That's right. And there's your girl." Luo Nantian smiled bitterly. Even he didn't know that his girl was so well connected. "You didn't know about her relationship with the Sacred Mu Cliff?" The principal looked at Luo Nantian in amazement. Luo Nantian snorted. The principal smiled. "That's true. Master Mu had so much conflict with the royal family back then. If they find out that she's Master Mu's pupil, the royal family won't let her off the hook. For safety's sake, we should keep it secret." Luo Nantian knew that as well, so he didn't blame Fengwu. He was just a little upset. The principal sighed with emotion. "It's all thanks to that girl. Otherwise, our forces would have been doomed." Luo Nantian said, "The Mountain Sea Academy would probably be all right, but the Luo family would have been doomed." The principal smiled bitterly. "I don't believe that you don't know what the Princess Royal meant. Without the Luo family, the entire Mountain Sea Academy would be at the mercy of the royal family. Do you think we'll have a good life?" While he was talking, Luo Nantian moved closer to the principal and handed him the remaining half of the blood when no one was looking. The principal asked, "What's that?" Luo Nantian said, "That's the antidote." The principal couldn't hide the surprise on his face. "What? The antidote? Where did Luo Nantian get the antidote? Who gave him the antidote? Why did he get it all of a sudden? Why didn't the principal know anything? Luo Nantian said grumpily, "Of course it's from Xiao Wu. Can't you see that she has neutralized the poison?" That was right. The principal recalled that Feng Wu had joined the battle and was engaged in a fierce battle with the Princess Royal, which proved that Feng Wu had really neutralized the toxin. Quickly, Luo Nantian handed the half bottle to the principal, who immediately hid it in his sleeve. Luo Nantian was already trying to neutralize the toxin and regain his freedom. Master LV stared at Hua Yangzi and smirked. "Do you really think no one can handle you? Master, are you there?" At those words, a figure in gray appeared next to him. Lord Yin was astonished. It's the Saint Elder One. The Elder used to be the head of the eunuchs. He was Master LVS Master and the Emperor Emeritus' servant. However, he disappeared when the Emperor Emeritus went into seclusion. But now, the Saint Elder One showed up. The current Emperor showed up with him as well. "Your Majesty." Immediately, everyone saw the ambitious Emperor, who wanted to annex all the continents and restore the glory of the empire. Feng Wu narrowed her eyes. Emperor Yin didn't try to hide his intimidating aura at all. Both teams should have sent their players out by now. The royal family consisted of Emperor Dian, the Sacred Elder One, Master LV, Lord Yin, the Princess Royal, the head of the Morong family, and the abbot. The Luo family consisted of Hua Yangzi, Dao Yu, Chu Tianxiao, the Sage of Calligraphy, Master Linghu, Patriarch Helian, and Feng Wu. Chapter 42-51. The finale. 6. Luo Nantian and the Drincy Dao would soon recover their cultivation ability. So Feng Wu thought she still had a chance. Emperor Yin sat on the highest seat and stared at the audience. "Disciples of the sacred Mu Cliff, I see." Emperor Yin smirked. "Good. Everyone's here." Hua Yangzi stared at Emperor Yin with brooding eyes. "Your Majesty, what's that supposed to mean?" Emperor Yin said, "It's usually very difficult to find you, let alone gather all of you here. I'm so glad that you've all gathered here in the Imperial capital." Lord Yin, good job. Emperor Yin praised him. Lord Yin smiled bitterly. At first, he didn't know that he could gather this many people from the sacred Mu Cliff. However, he was reassured by His Majesty's words. "It's all thanks to Your Majesty's brilliant plan. I'm only following orders." Lord Yin was filled with reverence toward Emperor Yin. Hua Yangzi stared at Emperor Yin and suddenly asked, "Your Majesty, were you behind my master's disappearance?" Hua Yangzi had been investigating the matter for the past few years, and after a series of detailed analyses, he pointed the finger at Emperor Yin. Emperor Yin smiled. "I didn't know that after all these years, you finally found me. That couldn't have been easy." It was an ambiguous statement. He neither admitted nor denied it, as if he had given tacit consent. Not everyone in the Sacred Mu Cliff was as level-headed as their senior brother. At that moment, Patriarch Helian couldn't help but say angrily, "So, you're the one who has injured my master. You deserve to die." Emperor Yin smiled. "I didn't injure him. I killed him." "Kill." The Sacred Mu Cliff cultivators' faces turned livid. Hua Yangzi smirked. "Master isn't dead yet." Emperor Yin said, "No, he's dead. I killed him myself." Hua Yangzi said, "Master isn't dead." Emperor Yin guffawed. "I tricked him into drinking the poison, skinning him, removing his tendons, and draining his blood. He's as dead as a doornail." Feng Wu stared at him and wanted to tear his hand off. Emperor Yin guffawed. "My third brother should never have been so benevolent as to try to save that child. Of course, I had to kill him. I couldn't hand the empire over to that kid." Huh? Feng Wu didn't understand. It was a feud of the older generations, and it was a secret of the royal family. Feng Wu was sure that many people here didn't understand it, apart from those few bosses. Seeing the confused look on Feng Wu's face, Luo Nantian explained to her. The previous emperor had 3 outstanding princes. The crown prince was the oldest son, and His Majesty was the second. Master Mu, on the other hand, was the 3rd prince. What? Fengwu looked at Luo Nantian in amazement. Her beautiful master used to be a royal prince. Luo Nantian nodded and said, "The three princes are all very talented and capable, and each of them is enough to make the Dian Empire prosper for 500 years. However, they're all too outstanding. The crown prince was an excellent cultivator, but he had his shortcomings, which were that he was too weak. Together with everything that happened back then, the crown prince died in the end, leaving behind a baby." Luo Nantian explained to Fengwu, "I think there's something fishy about what happened to the late crown prince. The late prince was poisoned by his majesty." Chapter 4252, The Finale, 7. The late prince was poisoned by his majesty. A calm voice came from a short distance away. When they turned around, they saw that it was Hua Yangzi. Back then, Master said that his majesty had poisoned the late crown prince to death with a slow-acting bone eroding blue powder, which could slowly kill people without them immoing it. Immediately, all eyes were on Emperor Yin. Emperor Yin remained unmoved and said unhurriedly, "Don't slander me. You said that you heard from my third brother, but where is he? He'll accept it if you tell him to come out." Where was Master Mu? No one knew where Master Mu was. According to the emperor, Master Mu was dead. Touching his bright yellow belt, Emperor Yin laughed. "Your Master Mu is long dead. Do you know where his tendons are?" All eyes were on Emperor Yin's belt. Emperor Yin said, "How dare he try to assassinate me? I won't let him do that. I killed him fair and square." Hua Yangzi said, "You're lying." Emperor Yin said, "Back then, he tried to kill the only bloodline of the late crown prince. If both the baby and I were dead, he would own the empire. I couldn't have let that happen." Even the disciples of the sacred Mu Cliff were infuriated. This emperor was such a liar. Otherwise, tell him to come out. As soon as he does, they'll believe you. "Huh!" Emperor Yin boasted. Just then, he heard a calm voice. "Is that so?" A tall, haughty, and graceful figure appeared in front of them. "Master!" Fengwu was the first to react. She rushed to her beautiful master's side and held his arm. "Master! Master! Master!" Everyone was excited. Hua Yangzi, Dao Yu, Chu Tianshao, the sage of calligraphy, Master Linghu, and Patriarch Helion were all people who loved their masters more than their own lives. They all burst into tears when they saw Mu Jiuzhou. Even Hua Yangzi, the most reserved of them all, dropped to his knees and greeted his master with tears in his eyes. Mu Jiuzhou looked up at his pupils before his gaze landed on Fengwu. He patted his pupil on the head and sighed with emotion. "I didn't know that you would save my life in the end. You've had a tough journey." Recalling all the hardships she had gone through, Fengwu burst into tears. Mu Jiuzhou rubbed her head and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "You cry, baby." Fengwu was as persistent as ever, but to her master, she was that little girl. The principal nudged Luo Nantian. "Master Mu, it's him, the third prince that they used to think highly of." Luo Nantian was equally shocked. They had thought that the third prince was dead, but he had come back to life. If Master Mu had been the emperor, the Luo family wouldn't have had so many conflicts with the royal family, and things wouldn't have turned out this way. The Luo family used to support Master Mu. Meanwhile, Mu Jiuzhou was walking toward Emperor Yin. Emperor Yin rose to his feet in astonishment, and his pupils contracted. "Why are you still alive? He was supposed to be dead." You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.